Talofa lava everyone, olo ingo o Dahlia Malaeulu. My name is Dahlia Malaeulu, and thank you very much for joining me in this session. It's a little mini writing session called Common Senses Poetry Writing. And this is something that I learned along my journey when I was a teacher, and I used to teach it. And all my students used to really enjoy it because it's something that can be used not just with poetry, but also in all your writing that you do. So let's get started. So common senses writing really just focuses around our 5 main human senses that we use every day. And a lot of my own writing has really been inspired by everyday events, experiences, things that I have witnessed, even after good talanoa, after good conversations. So first we've got smell, taste, hearing, so what you hear, touch and what you feel, sight and what you see. So when we kind of start with this 5 senses writing, I thought of a really easy topic for us to focus on, just so that we can go through the process, this particular writing. And it was really easy for me because it's summer and it's hot and we all are eating ice cream. Now, when we're looking at anything with common senses writing, we really just use the senses to guide us. And the first thing that I do with my writing is really do a download, a brain dump, a brainstorm, whatever you call it. It's just getting those ideas out. And when I look at ice cream, or the last time I remember having an ice cream, I looked at it, I remember looking at it and thinking that they were like mounds, small mini mountains, kind of piled up on top of each other, flavored ice, melted puddles, especially if it's not eaten fast enough. And my sons are kind of one of those who eat ice cream quite slowly and enjoy it. And then it ends up kind of half all over their hands. Then there's feel like, so that's the touch, that's the sensation of what it feels like. Cold, frozen, sticky when melting. And hear, what you actually hear or what you listen to as it's being eaten. And I had happy slurps. Plop and splat as it actually falls on the ground, and that happened to my youngest son the other day actually. Smell, for me, it smells creamy and sweet. Chocolate is my favorite, so I know the smell of chocolate anywhere, and to me that's what it smells like. Taste, smooth, velvet, and just so good. So after I've done this, which is the brainstorm, got my ideas all out, I then use the senses to help me structure it. And my first draft ends up looking like this. So it looks like mounds of flavored ice. It can look like melted puddles if left too long. It feels cold, frozen, and melted stickiness. So if you can tell, what I've done is literally put the senses at the beginning of the sentences to help frame my ideas. So I hear happy slurps, flop and splat as it hits the ground. I smell creamy, sweet chocolate. I taste smooth, velvet goodness. Now the magic kind of happens in your second or third edit. My second edit is where I kind of take out the senses language. So this is a part of writing called show, don't tell. We kind of don't want people to know exactly, we don't want to state exactly what it is that we're describing. We want to describe it and give them a description that helps them to create a picture in their mind of what it is we're talking about. So as you can see in the second draft, I've taken out all the senses vocabulary. I've also had a look at what was repeated. So on that second line, I noticed melted, I had repeated with the third line with melted stickiness, melted puddles and melted stickiness. And I actually liked the melted stickiness more. So I actually took out the second line altogether. I also order the ideas to suit what you would like, how you would like your message kind of conveyed. So here's what it sounds like in the second draft. Mounds of flavored ice, cold, frozen, and melted stickiness, creamy, sweet chocolate, smooth, velvet goodness, happy slurps until plop and splat as it hits the ground. So that just gives you an idea of where we're going with this common sense writing and poetry in the process. So now we're actually going to look at a video now. Have a look. we were at the beach last week and captured this. Let's apply this to our common senses writing. And remember, we'll kind of do that brain dump, brainstorm, get those ideas out. May have a first draft. My first draft actually ended up like this. And I should mention, I actually did like word edits as I was brainstorming. Does that ever happen to you? Where you kind of get it out, then you're like, actually, there's a better way to say this. Or there's another word that's popped in my head. So instead of warm rays from the sun, I thought of sun rays. Instead of happy water, I thought water rejoicing. Second draft, I kind of take away the senses vocab. Third draft, I reorder and edit where necessary so that my message is really strong, or it just conveys or gives the audience a really good picture and a really good sense of what I'm talking about in their minds. This is my final version. White fluffy clouds scattered across the horizon, the sun's rays, melted sunscreen, sticky sand welcoming the waves coming home. Chatter from sun-kissed people in the distance, salty water rejoices, finally reunited with half-sunken seashells. That was just from using our senses and what we noticed, our own experiences, or what we've actually witnessed. And something to note is that you can actually repeat this structure. So you could actually have 3 or 4 stanzas or paragraphs, as they say in poetry, stanzas, or it could literally be a jumping off point to help you write a really beautiful descriptive piece. Like I said in the beginning, common senses writing really does help us in all types of creative writing. And it's something that I really hope that you guys will give a go, which leads me to our common senses writing competition. I thought it would be really fun, interesting, and just a real honor for me to actually read your writing. So if you'd like to enter, please do email your pieces or your poetry into Mila's Books, bks@gmail.com, to go on the draw to win a Mila's Book storybook of your choice. So we've got a few storybooks for you to choose from, with plenty more coming this year. But entries close Monday the 17th of January, with winners announced on Friday the 21st of January on Mila's Books Instagram and Facebook page. So that ends our session now. And whakataitele lava for joining me today, and a big special whakataitele lava to Porirua City Libraries and this amazing festival and the team behind it. And I look forward to reading your common senses pieces and poetry. So far, so for everyone.